Yeah, we'll get started. Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Vasudevendra Yogindram Natva Jnanapradam Gurum Mumukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Vidhiyate. So let's try unmuting a couple of you. So Hem and so perhaps Mahesh, just so I can get some feedback. Can you all hear me properly?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So topic we are covering under Tattvabodha is Jiveshwara Aikyam. So the identity between Jiva and Ishvara. This is what we've been covering. So in the last class, we covered the statement, two statements. One is the Purva Pakshi in our teaching tradition. The person who raises an objection is called a Purva Pakshi. Objection. And the objection itself is called Purva Paksha. So we saw the Purva Pakshi asking a question, how can you claim the Jiva and Ishvara to be identical when the difference is so huge, so massive? Sahankarasya Jivaha, right? He explains Sahankarasya, Alpajnasya. And this small-knowing person, and you're comparing this person to an all-knowing Ishvara, I don't see any possibility. Or help me understand. This is what his question was. To which the teacher explained that there is something called Vachyarthaha, a direct meaning, an immediate meaning, and then there is something called Lakshyarthaha for any word. Lakshyarthaha means implied meaning. What is implied? So we saw several examples of that last time. And so when we say Shakuntala Devi is a giant in mathematics, we don't mean physical size. We don't mean the giantness of the elephant. Not the same as elephant giant. They are different. And so we look at the lakshyartha of any word at any given time in our conversations. So like that here also we have to take the lakshyartha. So this we saw last time. And so we saw various examples where, the mathematical equations that in algebraic equations. So if you say 2 plus 3 is equal to 100 minus 95, it seems very obvious to all of us. But for a child that is going to school and that has just learned the alphabet, it is not at all obvious. Forget about being obvious. It has to learn numbers. It has to learn some addition, subtraction. Then some one digit, it has to graduate to 2 digits. And then from 2 digits, there is 3 digits. 100 is 3 digits. So like this, so much of learning is there. Before the child can come to a point and say, yeah, that's all fine. I'm doing something called quadratic equations. I'm doing geometry. I'm doing trigonometry. And then these days, this bag that the child is carrying is full of books. And I don't know why we push so much into these children. And so that much of learning is needed, after which it becomes very obvious to the child. So same thing here also. The teacher is saying, please look at the lakshyartha. We don't mean the vachyartha. That's what was said here. Okay. So then Upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam shuddham chaitanyam tvam pada lakshyartha. That's what he says. So what is the lakshyartha? Upadhi vinirmuktam. Freed from the upadhi. The tvam is there. When I say you, that word you can mean anything. And it can mean your body, like you are tall, you are short. Or it can mean, have you eaten? So means you, the physiological system. Are you hungry? You must be hungry. Come, let's go. So is that you? Like this, there are so many yous. Which you are you going to take? Then here he says, Upadhi vinirmuktam. Any upadhi, any form you give, you take the form away. So physiological system is an upadhi. Stula shariram is an upadhi. We saw that. Sukshma shariram is upadhi. Anything that to which you can attribute a name and form is an upadhi. And so you take away all upadhis. Anything that comes to your mind as you take it out, take it away. What remains is Shuddha Chaitanyam, consciousness, existence. And so he says, Upadhi Vinirmuktam, Shuddha Chaitanyam. And he gives one more adjective, Samadhi Dasha Sampannam. So this word Samadhi again has many meanings. Pujya Swamiji uses here, he says, when the subject object resolution happens, like that he says, means when this knowledge occurs, then when I see everything as Brahma, and when I see myself also as no different than that Brahma, then there is no subject, no object. Amazing it is. So in all my transactions, there are different things and I am different from everything else. And so this is how transactions happen. And it will continue to happen like that. But then when the Satyam is seen, when the wave sees itself as water, when the recognition happens for the wave, that the wave is all water and the entire ocean is water, then the wave, when it sees When it looks at this world, what will it see? Cognitively, it sees only water. There is only water. There is nothing else other than water. As far as the eyes can see, there is only water. I am born of the water. I am water. I will go back into water, and there is only water. And let everything else be. Let the big waves be, small waves be, droplets be, all these things, let it be. All beauty. That's the beauty of this. That is the beauty of this Srishti. I am unaffected by that, but my vision is now very different. Like that, the wave can say, can it not? The vision is different. So there is no destruction because water cannot be destroyed. Our primary fear is I am destroyed. I have to protect myself. This is the fear. So the wave can say, yeah, the wave will disappear. As in this particular form, the form is not going to last. But my vision must be, who am I? I am water. And water is avinashi. Avinashi tu tad vidhi. Yena sarvamidam tatam vinashamavyayasyasya nakaschit kartum arhasi. So like that, Krishna tells Arjuna, understand this Atma to be avinashi, cannot be, not subject to destruction. Like that he says. So here, samadhi dasha sampannam means, so in that, in the wake of recognition, and when that subject-object duality is negated, completely negated. Like when you go to the jewelry shop, it's very obvious to you, this is a gold shop. They don't even have silver. You want to buy some silver panchapatram, you can't go to this store. You can't go to this jewelry shop because they don't have any silver. Very clear how it is clear. Because as far as I can see, it's all gold. It's all gold. And even when you buy something, he weighs it. And then he adds a little labor for something else. So all gold. That is the vision. That is the vision. That vision, samadhi dasha, when that vision is gained, Swami Paramarthananda uses a slightly different interpretation. He says, he uses viveka, he interprets samadhi as viveka. Why he says that? When the person gains the ability to see more than meets the eye. Now there is a beautiful phrase in English, more than meets the eye. Means the eye is telling you all these things, but you see more. You see a little more than what the eyes tell you, correct? A beautiful thing. So that viveka, that is what Swamiji says here, samadhi dasha sampannam, means that lakshyartha that is recognized when viveka is born in the person. And the person says, no, this is not what appears, is not what is real. Like that, if somebody says, then that person, nothing can stop the person. Nothing can stop the person. That is what is said here. Upadhi vinirmuktam samadhi dasha sampannam shuddham chaitanyam tvampada lakshyartha. So tvampada lakshyartha is shuddha chaitanyam atma. Like that, we saw that. We also saw the meaning of these two sentences. Okay. So now, Tvampada Vachyartha was talked about, Tvampada Lakshyartha was talked about. Now we can expect Acharyaji to talk about what Tatpada Vachyartha and Tatpada Lakshyartha. So let us chant this next couple of lines. This should be
311.
311, correct. Vachyartha, 311 and 312. Okay. Let's. So Deepa, can you hear us? So being a special guest, maybe you get the chance to chant. Okay. Evam. So we couldn't hear you. Evam.
Evam.
Okay. So come closer to the mic. Sarvajnatvadi.
Sarvajnatvadi.
Vishishtaha.
Vishishtaha.
Ishvaraha.
Ishvaraha.
Tatpada.
Tatpada.
Vachyarthaha.
Vachyartaha.
So everybody can chant. So since even just because I asked Deepa to chant doesn't mean everybody should be silent. This is meant for chanting. There is one of the things I'm thinking is at the end of this, we should chant the entire Tattvabodha. So we do that, chanting Tattvabodha. Entire Tattvabodha is chanted, many people know it by heart. So because this is us, this is not different from us. So we all need to practice chanting. So just don't watch me and Deepa are doing this, okay? All right. Once again, Evam
Evam.
Sarvajnatvadi
Sarvajnatvadi.
Vishishtaha
Vishishtaha.
Ishvaraha
Ishvaraha.
Tatpadavachyarthaha
Tatpadavarchyartaha.
Upadhi Shunyam
Upadi Shunyam.
Shuddha Chaitanyam
Shuddha Chaitanyam.
Tatpada
Tatpada.
Lakshyarthaha.
Lakshyartaha.
Yeah. So he is now talking about Tattvabodha. Swam is over. Now Tat is being looked at and answering the doubt of the Purva Pakshi. Is talking about Tattvada Vachyartaha and Tattvada Lakshyartaha. So Tattvada, Tat referring to Ishvara. And what is this Ishvara? What do you think Ishvara is? Like that, he is giving two different meanings. So, we saw this earlier. Tattvada was looked at earlier. And this entire world, we saw this entire world as nothing but Satchidananda. And we brought it down to consciousness. We analyzed it in 2 ways or 3 ways. And then if we say how many consciousnesses are there, if we ask the question, if we can even use the word, in fact, I don't know if the word consciousnesses is correct. It is not there probably because there is a recognition that there is only one all-pervasive consciousness. So if you look at this world with so many objects, we say every object has 3 kinds of limitations. Every object has 3 kinds of limitations. Parichedaha. In Sanskrit, we use the word parichedaha. Trayaha parichedaha. What are those 3? One is Desha parichedaha. Desha parichedaha means space-wise limited. Space-wise limited. What is the meaning of space-wise limited? You take anything, if you take an object like a tree, the tree may be big, but it occupies only a certain amount of space. Beyond that, the tree doesn't exist. So space-wise limited. It can't say I am all pervasive. It is limited. So the tree is there, the tree is not in my house. And whatever trees were there under my house were all removed so the house could come. So the tree is there, the tree is not here, the tree is not anywhere else. And there are many other trees somewhere else, in other places. That tree is limited space-wise. Next. Time-wise limited. Kala paricheda. Kala paricheda. Kalaha, time. Time-wise, how is the tree limited? We can say, hey, how did this tree come here? Did you plant it? Yeah, correct. We built this campus some time ago, and this place was barren. So if you go to this ashram, Teni ashram in Teni, Swami Omkaranandaji's ashram, it's full of trees. It looks like a forest. And I asked, I didn't know Teni was like a forest. And they said, this place was barren, and after Swamiji established the ashram, he planted all these saplings and trees and things like that, and now it looks like a forest. And for the first time there, I saw a what is it called? Palapana, jackfruit. Jackfruit growing in a tree. I saw jackfruit before. I know what a jackfruit is. I've eaten jackfruit. But growing in a tree, hanging from a tree, I never saw before. So this one I saw, and I hope all of you know what a jackfruit is. And it can be very big and a green, pointed skin it has, and very big. And you know where it grows? Normally, when you think of fruits growing in a tree, it's in the top of the tree. This thing, no, not top of the tree. Right in front of you, yeah. The tree is big and it has a big trunk and it is growing right in front of you. It is going below you also, it is growing. And throughout the tree, this jackfruit is growing. I was just amazed by it. And so, the tree was not there before. Correct? Because that was a barren land. So before the tree was not there, now the tree is there. So the tree was born. Tree is limited by time. Kala paricheda. And of course, it is changing with time also. It was a small, what do you call, sasyam. It was a small growing plant before. It was a plant before, now it is a tree. And, some of us who have been living in cities and far removed from all these things, we don't know which seed gives what tree, nothing we know. And what kind of water it needs, what kind of weather it needs, how to protect these trees from growing when it is rain or sun. I don't know what all they do. So many things they all must be doing. And so time, kala paricheda. Okay, this is very obvious to you. Desha paricheda, kala paricheda, very obvious. Then there is one more limitation. That limitation in Sanskrit we call it as vastu paricheda. Vastu paricheda is what? Being a jackfruit, it is not an apple, it is not a mango, it is of course not a pumpkin, it is not an eggplant, it is not carrot, it is not any other thing in this world. So the minute the jackfruit says, I am jackfruit, it is saying, I am limited by virtue of my being jackfruit. Correct? Because I am jackfruit only, and there are too many things in this world which I am not. That is called Vastu Paricheda. So by virtue of the attributes of the object, it is limited. So the minute I say something, that word itself limits that object. Correct? So these are the three types of limitations. And then, but we saw that these are all attributes. These are all incidental attributes of Satchidananda Atma. Incidental attributes. Like the golden bangle. We say bangle is noun and gold is adjective. And Vedanta says, no, no, my dear, it's not like that. Gold is Satyam. Bangle is Mithya. You have made the bangle into noun. Okay, in grammar, let it be noun. We don't have a problem with it. But in your buddhi, what is noun? This is important. Gold was always there. Gold is impossible to destroy. And bangle is adjective. Bangle is an incidental attribute to the gold. So therefore, in this world, every object, every attribute, every name I tell you, every name we know is a nama rupa. Name and a form. Name and a form. Name and a form. That is all everything is, giving an as though independent reality. Look at that. As though independent reality. Everything seems to be independently real. But once we recognize that consciousness, then that's what is independently real. Everything rests on that consciousness. So, this Brahma being both we saw that both the Nimitta Karanam and the Upadana Karanam. Brahma is also Shuddha Chaitanyam. And me, I say I was born and I will die, etc. But I am also that same Shuddha Chaitanyam. And the body may be born and it may die. But my essential nature is Shuddha Chaitanyam. And now talking about Tattvabodha. That Tattvabodha Laksharthaha is Shuddha Chaitanyam. So when I remove what word he is using here, he is saying Upadi Shunyam. Previously he said Upadi Virmuktam. Now he is using the word Upadi Shunyam. Same meaning. Same meaning. Upadi Shunyam. That is, if you for a minute set aside the Upadi. Set aside the Upadi means what? If you recognize the flower as the Upadi for the crystal, then you're cognitively setting aside. That is what setting aside here means. You don't have to take something and put it somewhere else. And if you set aside cognitively the Upadi, then what remains is this Upadi Shunyam Shuddha Chaitanyam. That is what he's saying here. So earlier we talked about for the body, Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. And we also, the equivalent of, for the world, we said Sthula Prapancha, Sukshma Prapancha and Karana Prapancha. So all those, if I see as Upadhis, which as though give attributes to Atma, then I will be able to see that the entire Jagat, Ishvaraha, is Shuddha Chaitanyam alone. That is what he's saying. Then what about the differences I see? Differences are there. Everything is Shuddha Chaitanyam. I'm hungry, I'm breakfast. I don't go outside and take a rock and eat the rock. Because everything is Shuddha Chaitanya. You can't do that. Because, why I can't do that? Because this body is mithya. This wonderful system that is there, that is operating, is all mithya. And for that mithya to operate, mithya body, mind, senses to operate, it needs mithya nutrition. A mithya nutrition that cannot be provided by a rock. Okay? That is the reason. So we can't say, somebody can't come and say, oh, everything is Brahma, so what do you have to have? No, some question people ask. Okay, let them ask, it is good. In Vedanta, we don't say stupid question and all these things. Everything is a good question. We should ask these questions, in fact. We should ask. Because finally we are looking for clarity. Clarity comes only by asking questions. So yeah, that is the answer to that question. Why should this body need nutrition? Means that is the way it is set up. But body is mithya. Don't take the body to be satyam. That is a mistake we make. So mithya body needs mithya nutrition, and mithya nutrition is provided by mithya vegetables and mithya fruits and mithya grains. That is the answer we will give. Okay. Okay. So recognizing that nothing is apart from Brahman, and here Acharya is pointing us to this Tattvabodha Lakshyartha. Then what is Tattvabodha Vachyartha? He says, hey, you mistook Ishvara to be. In this equation, your idea of Ishvara is Sarvajnatvadi. He says, yeah, one who is all-knowing. And you already mentioned it before in your doubt. How can me, the Alpajnaha, be the same as that Sarvajnaha? I don't see a possibility. Then he says, yes, that Sarvajnatvam that you mentioned, and that Nirahankaraha uses that word. So all these things which you already recognized that you mentioned, they are all Tattvabodha Vachyartha. When we say Ishvara created this word, we are talking about Vachyartha. We are not talking about Lakshyartha. Because there is a creation involved. There is a creator and created. So there is an operation going on. And there is a form I have given. And when I say Vishnu or Shiva or Devi, I am giving forms. And when I give forms and use words to refer to those forms, that is Vachyartha. So, Sarvajnatvadi Vishishtaha. Vishishtaha means what? Qualified by. Visheshanam. Vishishtaha. So, the way to say this is Ishvara, who is qualified by these adjectives like all-knowing and so forth, is the Vachyartha, direct meaning of the word Ishvara. Or Tat, direct meaning of the word Tat. Tattvabodha Vachyartha. And when you recognize the Upadhi as not belonging to Atma, then that Upadhi Shunyam, Shuddha Chaitanyam, is the implied meaning of Tattvabodha. Implied meaning of Tattvabodha. That's what he's saying here. Let's see the translation. Let's do that. Evam. So evam means what here? Evam means likewise, similarly. Similar means what? Similar to what? Similar to what I told you last class, he says. And he says, Tvampada Vachyartaha and Tvampada Lakshyartaha. Just like you saw the Upadhi is not you. You are really Shuddha Chaitanya and Upadhi Vinirmuktam by using the same process. That is what this Evam means. Evam. Similarly, comma, the immediate meaning of the word Tat. The immediate meaning of the word Tat. Tvampada Vachyartaha. Or Tat, you can say comma, that. Is Ishvaraha. Is Ishvaraha, comma, the one who is endowed with all knowledge, etc. The one who is endowed with all knowledge, etc. Sarvajnatvadi. Full stop. Okay, so somewhere there is a hens and they're
Yeah, that is on my side.
reminding us. Good. I think we should have that. Those days they never had all this enclosed structures. At best, some limited structure was there, and they say most classes were held outside under a tree and all. We see all these pictures, which is true.
Classes are lively. I think.
Why not have a class under a tree? I think we're talking about Brahma, all pervasive and all that. We should at least be able to see some trees and birds flying and all that. Otherwise, what is this? Sitting in a small room and talking about Vedanta. I don't think so. I don't like it actually. But it's okay. We will adapt, but at the same time, we will appreciate everything. So, the next sentence is the implied meaning of the word tat, namely Tattvabodha Lakshyarthaha. The implied meaning of the word tat is pure consciousness, Shuddha Chaitanyam, free from all upadhis. Free from all upadhis. I am not translating the word upadhi. Okay. So we will look at the next sentence here now. So who would like to chant? Anybody chanted? Is it chanted or? So, yeah, Ashutosh, can you hear us? Yeah. Go ahead. All of us can chant this. Evam
Evam
cha
cha
jiveshwarayoho
jiveshwarayoho jiveshwarayoho
chaitanya
chaitanya
rupena
rupena
abhede
abhede
badhaka
badhaka
abhavaha
abhavaha
badhaka bhavaha
badhaka bhavaha
badhaka plus abhavaha badhaka bhavaha.
badhaka bhavaha.
Correct. So he's talking about absence of anything that can negate this statement, because this statement is a fact. That is what he's trying to say. So as we saw last class, we saw that we are not trying to equate two identical things. You go to a furniture store, and a big furniture store, and they not only have, normally in a furniture store, they will have one of each item, because you only need to see one of each item, one chair, one table, one particular type, different type of table, different type of chair. But here, big furniture store, and they have stacks of chairs, same chair. Then you say, oh, this chair is same as this chair, same as this chair, same as this chair. That chair is different. So we are not trying to equate these two identical chairs made of the same wood, same identical wood, same shape, same weight, everything. No, that's not what we're doing. We saw that we are trying to understand what is identical between seemingly non-identical things. So that we saw, Jiva and Ishvara. We are not trying to equate two non-existent things also. Non-existent things means what? Suppose I say like this. A circular square. Circular square doesn't exist. How will you even imagine a circular square? I'll ask you to imagine. I forget drawing. Just imagine. Drawing we will see later. And you have to try to imagine. You can think of a square and you can think of a circle inside a square or outside a square. You can do all this. But circular square, this is a big problem. Okay. Circular square doesn't exist. And then what about the rabbit's horns? What about the rabbit's horns? You know how beautiful it is? The rabbit is beautiful. But you know what? The rabbit's horns are even more beautiful than the rabbit. Suppose I say. How will you understand that statement? So that rabbit's horns, it's an example given by Shankara. So we say Shasha Vishanaha. It's an example. So sometimes we make up examples. Sometimes we use examples given by the Shastram and so forth. So I can say circular square is equal to Shasha Vishana. Can I say that? Circular square is equal to Shasha Vishana. You can't protest. Because if you protest, then I am saying, you explain to me what is circular square. And no, horns of the rabbit. Okay, horns of the rabbit, what? How can that be equal to a circular square? Yeah, why they can't be equal? You have to think about it.
They are both imaginary.
They are both imaginary. And so, how do you equate two imaginary things? That also is a big problem. So, here, that is not the thing we are talking about. Two imaginary things are being equated. That also you can't say.
Yeah.
No, I don't see consciousness. Therefore, consciousness does not exist. So this is another popular argument. So then if some person tells you that, we should say this. Okay, you are looking at me now, correct? You are seeing so many things in this world, correct? Yeah. Yeah, I can see everything. I can hear sounds, everything. I say you don't have a face. Do you say you don't have a face? Why? No, I have a face. But do you see your face? You don't see the face. That means you don't have a face. Let's all say you don't have a face. Because you don't see your face. No, how is that possible? That's not possible. So simply saying I don't see consciousness and all is a very, very simplistic argument. There is a joke that goes around, has gone around before. And there is a professor, it seems. And so something about this professor being an atheist. He doesn't believe in God. And so he always tries to, he's a physics professor, you know. So physics means he is capable of talking about Ishvara and all. He says, there is no God. He comes to the class, he's supposed to teach physics, really speaking. Don't get into this topic of Ishvara. But he says, oh, you're God, what is this? And does he exist? Yeah, he exists. No, but if he exists, why is he creating so much pollution? Why is he creating so much suffering in this world? Does he create good? Does God do good to you? Yes, he does good. And why there is so much suffering? Who creates? That's why I say God doesn't exist. Then it seems the story goes in the internet, you can look up. And the big discussion. One student got up and says, hey guys, he looks at all the students, all his classmates and says, and the professor says, have you seen God? Have you seen God? No. Have you seen God? No. Have you seen God? You all have not seen God. And how can you believe God exists? This God, so powerful God, and he must be there somewhere and you haven't seen him. That means he really doesn't exist. Then the student gets up, it seems, and says, hey, guy, hey, John, hey, Vikram, have you seen the professor's brain? No, I'm not seeing it. What about you? Hey, Lalita, have you seen the professor's brain? Hey, Deepa, have you seen the professor's brain? Hey, Raghu, have you seen the professor's brain? No, I'm not seeing. So he goes around like this. And then he looks at the professor. Hey, professor, you don't have a brain. We have concluded that you don't have a brain. Like that, there is a story that went around many years ago, I remember. We can't use that argument that just because you don't see something. So all this pratyaksha and all that is a bit, that's why it's all a very specious argument. And it is not enough to prove that something exists or not. So we are not talking about two non-existent things here. And we are talking about the order which is there, the cosmic order, the world I am able to perceive. And we are talking about the reality of this world. And I am able to perceive my body. And we are talking about the reality of this body. And there is so much science that is nothing but the discovery of what already is. And that's what we are talking about. And so the reality of that, having seen that as Atma, and having recognized the world as Mithya, and recognized this body and this particular name and form as Mithya, and everything is Satyam. Satyam is what sustains Mithya. There is all these waves and every wave is Mithya. The ocean is also Mithya. Means Ishvara also is Mithya. And Brahma is only Satyam. And that Satyam, I am also, this Atma also is that same Satyam. And so, that Satyam is free from Mithya. This is what we have to appreciate. Satyam is free from Mithya. Water is free from waveness. Think about it. Water. If you say wave limits water, it is only as though wave limits water. Wave really cannot limit water. Water is limitless, and waveness, as we saw, depends on water. Whatever you say, however you define wave, you go ahead and define a wave. It all depends. The definition borrows from water. Water is what gives waveness or gives wave its waveness. But water isn't affected by the waveness. Satyam is not affected by Mithya. Very important. Therefore, Atma is not affected by this body. Very important. Atma is not affected by the body. And so he says, Badaka Abhava. In that sentence, he is using Abhavaha means absence. Badaka means anything that affects is called Badaka. That which affects is called Badaka. There is no negating or affecting entity for this Tat and Tvam. That's what he's saying here. Now let's understand it a little more. Badaka. What is this Badaka? You already know it, but let me give you some examples. One example, let's see. I see a snake outside my door. I see a snake. Now, is this snake Satyam or Mithya if we ask? We will say the snake is Mithya because snake has a Badaka. Snake has a Badaka. The snake can be negated. Can be negated. How it can be negated? When I recognize what I see as a rope, that rope knowledge negates snakeness. Rope knowledge removes the snake. Negates snakeness means what? Removes the snake. When I see it as a rope, then snakeness goes away, snake goes away. No longer is there snake vision in my mind. So that rope knowledge is a badhaka for the snake that I see. Snake is real. When I see the snake, it is real only. I say real. I say everything is real. So snake goes away. We say snake is badhita. Snake is badhita, and the rope knowledge. Rajju jnanam. Rajjuhu in Sanskrit is rope. Nope. So snake plus rope is snope, right? So Rajju jnanam. Rajju jnanam is the badhaka of the snake, which is sarpaha, and sarpaha will be called baditaha. It is negated. Baditaha negated. Okay. Now, but this example is not good enough. Because, okay, that's why you are saying snake is mithya, because it is negated, snake went away. But in this world, I see so many things that don't go away. Everything is as it is. That we say tree is mithya, but tree continues to be. The table and chair are mithya, but it continues to be. And in the wake of knowledge, does the tree disappear? In the wake of knowledge, does the table disappear? No, doesn't disappear. Doesn't disappear. In the wake of knowledge of gold, none of the golden ornaments disappear. Everything continues to remain as it is. So, yes, therefore, disappearance is not needed. As in the snake, its appearance can continue to be like the sun revolving around the earth. Sun is revolving around the earth. That is my thinking. But in the wake of knowledge, I use the word wake. Swamiji uses it very often. Wake means W-A-K-E. Very interesting word it is. And in physics and in sciences also they use the word wake. So if a plane is going like this in the sky, plane is going, then what they say is, if the plane is going like this, then there is, of course, it is pushing through the air. It is just piercing the air that is there, right? And so there is all these air waves, and behind the plane, they call it the wake of the, I think it's called the wake, correct?
Yeah, it's called the wake.
Called the back portion is called the wake. The behind portion is called the wake. So in the wake of knowledge, when we say after knowledge takes place, that is what we mean in the wake of knowledge. So once the knowledge has taken place, in the wake of knowledge, then what happens? We don't see the sun revolving around the earth, we see the earth revolving around us. Cognitively, I know the earth is revolving, but the perception doesn't change. The perception doesn't change even one bit after the knowledge. But here, after the rope knowledge, the snake actually doesn't exist, disappears. Here, nothing disappears. The sun doesn't disappear. Earth doesn't disappear. Revolution doesn't disappear. Rotation doesn't disappear. Nothing disappears. So that's the kind of knowledge we are talking about here. Correct? So my idea that the sun revolves around the earth is badhita, is negated by the badhaka. What is the badhaka? My knowledge of physics, my knowledge of the movement of planets, and my knowledge of the solar system is the badhaka for this wrong knowledge. Perception is there, but wrong conclusion. So the perception continues to be there, but the conclusion that I had before is negated. And in that negation, I make a new conclusion. Correct? New conclusion. Same facts, Same perception, everything is same, new conclusion, very new conclusion, almost opposite conclusion. That is what is Badaka and Padi. So likewise, I am limited. I say I am Alpajnaha, and I say all these things. Upon careful inquiry, we will say that this body, mind, sense complex has all these attributes, and these attributes are all mithya, like the wave, and the wave is not independently existent. We are talking about what is independently existent, which is Atma, which is Shuddha Chaitanyam, and that I does not have any attributes, and that I is what is being referred to by the Tattvabodha, which is equated to the Tattvabodha, which is also the same Shuddha Chaitanyam. And there is no Badaka to that, because it is a fact. There cannot be any Badaka to the Atma. You cannot disprove. You cannot negate Chaitanyam existence. If you say, no, I am going to negate Chaitanyam, then I will ask, who is the negator? Who is negating Chaitanyam? That negator is what we are talking about. You, that nature. So, there is no Badaka. So, the differences are all mithya. And what exists is Satyam, what is Satyam. So here Swamiji tells a nice story. Since there was a king, and the king is the patron of arts and the patron of knowledge, and so those days, unlike the current government, which I hope will do better, they used to support all knowledge, and knowledge was important. Saraswati Devi is the one that governed our kingdoms, and our kings were guided by rishis and so forth. And so he used to have scholars in his palace, and there is an Advaita scholar also and a Dvaita scholar also. Because he says, yeah, all philosophies, people should know all these things. And so he used to attend classes also. This king had time to attend some Vedanta classes like Tattvabodha classes. And so he was attending and Advaita. So he was talking, the teacher was talking about this Satyam and Mithya, and everything is Satyam. And you are Brahma, you are the whole, like this he was talking. And giving a series of lectures. And the king, of course, felt good. Because one thing about Advaita is, even if we did not understand, we feel little good about it. Because everywhere you go, people are saying you're no good, and this fellow is like this, that fellow is like that. We are constantly told like this. So at least in this class, I am able to hear some good things about me. So as always, Advaita does good to us. Then he also attended some classes by this Dvaitacharya. And so series of classes. And then he said, you are part of the whole, and which you know already. Nothing, you can't improve the situation any further. But after death, something will happen. Even then you will be part of the whole. But that is what moksha is, after death. The part of the whole that you will be after death is moksha. And the part of the whole that you are now cannot be improved, and this is samsara. Like that, he was taught. The attendant was going along with the king. He also was listening to these talks, or forced to listen to these talks, whichever way, and listening. And he went and told the Dvaitacharya, look, I'll tell you something. This our Maharaja, he's sleeping in your classes, often he dozes off. But in the other class, he seems to be alert and he's shaking his head and all that. And so I just wanted to tell you that. I don't know what it means. So this Dvaitacharya decided, no, this is not right. Why should that be? So he was waiting. So then once the king with his whole retinue, they all went out and to go to the next, the neighboring sub-kingdom for an assessment. And on the way, they saw an elephant. And the elephant charging. And so immediately the scholars also were going there to this town because that town also belongs to the king, and all acharyas and all the purohits and all the scholars, all the dancers, everybody, the entire retinue were going. And this Advaitacharya saw the elephant first and said, "Elephant, run!" And he ran, and everybody ran after that, including the king. They all went away and to a safer place. And then they camped there that night. They went to the next town, etc. And then they came back to the kingdom. Then the Dvaitacharya approached the king and said, Maharajji, you know what happened when we were in the forest? What happened? You know, there was an elephant. Yes, I remember we saw an elephant. Did you see what the Advaita Acharya did? Yeah, what did he do? He screamed elephant first. Then he ran. Yeah, he screamed elephant first. Thanks to him, good eyes he has, and then we all escaped. No. But he was the first to run. Yeah, he was the first to run. That's good. He was very smart. Advaita Acharya, very alert also. I'm very happy about that. No, Maharajji, you don't understand. Didn't he say the world is mithya? Yes, the world is mithya. Didn't he say the elephant is mithya? Yes, the elephant is mithya. Then why is he running? He said, correct. Why should he run if the elephant is mithya? And so he said, come on, get our Advaita Acharya. And then, so he comes and said, what happened, Maharaj? I'm so pleased that you summoned me. What happened that day? Why did you run when you saw the elephant? Maharaj, elephant can do so much damage, and it's important that we all run away from this charging elephant. But you said elephant is mithya, right? Yes, elephant is mithya. And then why did you run? He said, when did I say running is satyam? Running is also mithya only. So, running is mithya, elephant is also mithya only. Like that he said. So that mithyatvam is needs to be carefully understood. And one has to, the body is mithya is there, the mithya body will be affected by a mithya elephant. Correct? And the mithya body has to be protected if you can protect it. So that is how it works. But in the wake of knowledge, all these activities happen, but there is no anxiety. What we say is, anxiety and fear are gone from a wise person. Whatever happens, happens. We do what is to be done. And whatever comes is accepted as Ishvara Prasada. And so, if body dies means what? I don't die. So, Atma Avinashi. So therefore, the wise person cannot have an anxiety. But the body has to be taken care of. So he says, I run. Running is mithya. So that story, I was reminded of. So we will stop here. So we have just seen that evam jiveshwarayoho chaitanya rupena abhede badaka bhavaha. So the meaning of that sentence is, let's finish that also. Evam cha and thus Jiveshwara Yoho, which means what? Between the Jiva and Ishvara, namely between the individual and the total, between Jiva and Ishvara, there being no difference in the form of consciousness, there being no difference, literal translation is in the form of consciousness, means no difference, both being consciousness, there is a meaning. Comma, there is nothing to negate that. There is within parenthesis, there is nothing to negate that. Badhaka abhava, nothing to negate that. So we will continue this in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.